Yo, glitches, it's always good to see you. I appreciate you swinging by. In today's video, I wanted to talk about plugins. I know I talk about OBS plugins quite a bit, but I really haven't talked about like my top 5, I guess, top 6. I don't even know how many we're going to be doing today. So we're going to just talk about top plugins today that I've been using quite often and showcasing them a little bit in the video. Let's get right into it. Welcome back to my YouTube. It's always good seeing you. I did want to take a little bit of time to just acknowledge a couple things. I finally hit some goals of mine. So what I'm going to be doing in this video today is just kind of giving back, I guess celebrating. We hit 1,000 subscribers. I know that's really not that much. Hopefully we have a lot more by the time this video gets out there and seen a few times. But what we're going to be doing is kicking off a little bit of a giveaway. Details are going to be down in the description of the video. Basically all you have to do is be subscribed to this channel, hit the thumbs up button on this video, and then comment down below so I know that you've done that. And I also have something to click on and talk to, because if you do end up winning, I'll go ahead and give that to you and communicate that way, I guess. So go ahead and do all 3 of those things and help me out on my videos on there. And if you're lucky, we're going to hit, when we hit 500 likes on this video, I'm going to be giving away some Amazon for free. So again, all the details down below in the video. But let's go ahead and jump over here and talk about some OBS plugins. Okay, first thing I want to talk about before we get too much into actual plugins that I use, I want to talk about StarScape. Big shout out to Andy Lippy for giving me the heads up that this thing exists. This is an amazing tool, and I'll probably be covering it again in another video. Basically, it's a plugin manager. They've got some extra things along with it as well. You download this guy, you can get pretty much all your OBS Studio plugins installed and updated all in one utility. And if you're looking for some new ideas as well, like maybe you don't know what plugins exist, you can go down here and check out some pretty fun things like, Bongo Cat, for example, just to add some fun things to your stream. They also have this Sputnik extension or whatnot that allows you to link to your phone, kind of like a mobile stream deck. And also you can do some like mobile stream setup stuff as well. I haven't really played around with this, but it looks like there's some pretty cool stuff coming out from StarScape down this pipeline, and it looks like a really great tool, especially for this plugin manager. Alright, the very first one I want to talk about is OBS NDI. This uses NewTek NDI. Basically, you can set it up to have video and audio beamed over the network from one device to the other, or one PC to another. Multiples if you really choose to. And what this allows me to do is save my processing and my GPU performance on my gaming rig. So on the streaming rig, I can have lots of assets firing off or channel point redemptions, and it doesn't bog down my system, which is amazing because I don't have the best of system, but I do have 2 systems, one set up for my streaming, one for my gaming, and all of a sudden you've got a really nice crisp looking stream that doesn't take your frames away. It's amazing. Alright, and the next one I want to talk about is our freeze filter effect, which is great for multiple effects that you can do, kind of like snapshots or anything you want to send to Discord. It's really great because, quite frankly, you can use it in a lot of creative ways, and I think I have like 4 or 5 different effects that all use this freeze filter, and it's pretty easy to do. So basically you can freeze any asset, like I've got my camera all set up here in the back on there, so you can see I've got motion. You just go down to it and add a filter, and you would add the effect filter of freeze, and you can toggle it on and off if you want, and all of a sudden my camera is frozen. It's nice and solid, but you can see that in the background I still have things that are animating, so you can freeze individual assets or entire scenes and create some really fun and interesting effects. Alright, next up I want to talk about the StreamFX plugin. This one gets used all over the place. It literally has so many different usefulnesses. It's unbelievable. Things like blurring out, moving something in 3D, or the shaders and stuff. It's just, the sky's the limit with this guy. So let's go ahead and play with a couple of these and I'll show you what we're talking about. Okay, back in our test scene again. Let's play around with the StreamFX to kind of show you what you can do. There's so many things you can pull this off with. Let's mess with the camera again underneath filters. If you go to add, the StreamFX adds quite a few options for us. We have a 3D transform, we have like a blur effect, and then I believe shaders are in here as well. User defined shader or shaders, and I won't get into shaders in this one, but you can get so many different effects with shaders. The sky is the limit, because you can download individual shaders to make things do a million different types of things. So let's just play with blur. This is just one of many effects that you can do, and like anything, you just want to get in here and play with it, and see how you like it. You can see I'm just blurring my camera out, and you can do it with anything. Just anything. All right, we can also play around with the 3D transform real fast. I'm going to transform this scene, which is actually my game, because I actually have more sources coming in one. So you can apply it to anything, individual sources, entire scenes, things like that. We're going to do, or groups, 3D transform for this, and you can change around quite a few of the settings, the pitch, the yaw, the roll, the scale, all these things. Like if I mess with the yaw, for example, it's actually going to make it bend in space a little bit, and you can roll it. You can do quite a few things. I've seen people make this, like their chat stand out like a 3D space using this function. So let's go around perspective maybe, and you can kind of see what we're talking about here, where it literally will bend the asset and make it look like it's 3D. It's pretty cool stuff. All right, the next one I have is a big one. It's wind capture audio. Technically, it's still in beta. This thing is amazing. I can't speak of it enough. I'm a big fan of Voicemeeter, and this thing basically will replace a lot of people's voice meters if you use it in a different way. And it's easy to use, so you can basically pull out audio from your main stream of audio. For example, your game, or maybe you want your Windows browsers or Chrome browsers to have different volume levels for your stream, or Spotify or your chatbot. You can pull anything that makes out audio in your stream. You can pull it straight into OBS and have it routed or different volume levels for your viewers, which is just amazing, and it's really easy to use. So right now, for example, I have Spotify playing in the background. You won't hear this on the recording, and that's just because of the way I have audio routed. But if I go into OBS, for example, you can see in the audio mixers, I currently have nothing in it. So let's go ahead and add one. So we're just going to hit plus. It's called Application Audio Output Capture, and you can name it whatever you want. You can capture more than one executable if you want. I'm just going to name it this. I'm going to hit OK. And then you can have it capture everything, all these things, but really what we want to do with this is separate our audios so we can play around with it. You can see down here underneath the session, I have OBS, I have Voicemeeter, I have Discord. What I want to do in this case is hit Spotify, and I'm going to add executable that adds Spotify to the list. I'm going to hit OK, and now you can see in the audio mixer, I have underneath that audio capture, Spotify basically pulled straight in. Now this pulls the audio from the main stream of audio, so if I want to listen to it myself, I can kind of do that using advanced audio properties, and I can change it from monitor off to monitor and output, so I can hear it in my own ears. Or what I could do is also route it with these tracks, and if you know what I'll talk about with VOD recordings, you can basically click it off, so now Spotify will no longer record on my VOD, because if you go underneath my settings in OBS, I'll show you this real quick. Takes a second to load. Underneath your output, I think you have to have advanced set up here, but you can basically have your Twitch VOD track. Anything that's set to track 6 in my case will get recorded to the VOD, and now that I've unchecked Spotify, Spotify will no longer record to my Twitch VOD. That's as easy as it is. That's as easy as it is to use this, and it's just amazing. You can do this with any audio source. All right, our next one I want to talk about on our top list of plugins that I have been using is Downstream Keyer from Exceldro. This thing's amazing, and just a heads up, anytime Andy Lippy makes a video on a plugin, that plugin's worth exploring. It's got some power to it. And what the Downstream Keyer allows you to do is basically take any asset, source, or scene and basically put it on top of everything in your stream even in between scene transitions. And so this is really great for your alerts, like if you want your alerts set up like lower thirds, maybe it's like a ticker or something that you just want to have set up in front of everything. In my case, I've been using it as like kind of a pseudo transition screen, and it's just powerful if you can kind of wrap your head around it. So anyways, let's play around with it just to show you how it works. I won't get into too much of the advanced stuff on there. When you first get back into OBS and set up on there, you probably won't see it. So what you need to do is go up into View, underneath Docs, and go ahead and highlight the Downstream Keyer, and then you'll see it just kind of floating there, and you can kind of dock it to wherever you want. And now it's kind of set up on there, but it's currently not doing anything, so I want to highlight something and put it in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a new scene. I'm going to call it whatever. We're going to go ahead and transition because that's what we're doing. And then underneath the sources, I'm just going to make like a you know, a test something, whatever. This is, like I said, really good for your lower thirds. I'm just going to make a test text, or test text. I can speak, I swear. So this would be great for your lower thirds or tickers or alerts, like I was kind of saying on there. And then after you have that set up on there, you just highlight your scene down here. Make sure that's highlighted. And underneath the Downstream Keyer, hit plus. I think you have to highlight that as well, and it should basically stay on top of things in between transitions. So let's go back to our other scene that we were just in, and you can see that that test text it was wordful is still staying on there in between transitions. So again, really great for lower thirds, really great for alerts, things like that. Anything that you just want to stay on top of it, you can, and you can always come down here and you know, highlight that and hit minus if you want, and it will go away, or add it. Really good things that you can add on here too, like if you just say, hey, guess what, this is a goal of mine, whatever you want to do, you can bring it on and add it or subtract it, pause it, whatever you want to do with it. It's a pretty cool, powerful tool. All right, the last plugin I want to talk about is probably the number one I use all over the place, and it's the Move Transition plugin from Exceldro. This allows you to add animation to your stream in so many different functions. I've made millions of videos about how to do it, so I'll go ahead and link a couple of them before, but basically you can add motion and animation to your stream. So I'm going back over here OBS, like say if I have my camera over here and I want to just move it using filter sources and toggle switches, I can do so. Underneath here I made one, underneath filters, and I just hit this little eyeball over here, and all of a sudden my camera will slide around and move around, and it's just really, really effective because you can do this with so many things in your stream. Another really great thing for the move transition is to basically use the move value function, and what that will let you do is change settings, multiple settings or single settings on an asset that you already have, whether it be a slider or something like that, which I think is great because you can change like a fade, opacity, things like that. Let's go ahead and mess with the blur in the camera because we did that earlier. So go underneath filters. I already have the blur still there. It's set to a minimum, but if I want, I can add a new move a value, and then you can call it whatever you want. The filter source I want to have is the blur, and if I get the current value, that's currently what I have. I'm going to spread that up a little bit, but what I want to do is change the size. So let's go ahead and make it like, I guess, 90, and I'll go ahead and duplicate this, and I can change this back down to like 1 or something. So I have 90, I have 1, so ideally as soon as I hit those eyeballs I should change, and like I said before, we can do this with any type of effect that we want, and using like, you know, Leorn board, I can toggle this on and off whenever I want it. Appreciate you watching the video. That will be everything for this one. I'll see all you glitches on the next one.